Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Gangs have taken over one of Haiti's main fuel storage depots. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Friday, 30th September 2022. Details when we return.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. Gang blockade cripples Haiti's fuel depot. Details in this HGP regional news item with Tamika Rodney.
A gang blockade of Haiti's principal fuel terminal has crippled day-to-day activities in the Caribbean nation and now threatens to force the closure of hospitals that rely on diesel generators for electricity. Port-au-Prince gangs in a brazen move this month dug trenches and littered shipping containers at entrances to the terminal to protest a September 11th announcement that the government would cut fuel subsidies due to their high cost. Due to a lack of power, radio station Magic 9 on Tuesday had to halt its morning programming as it was conducting interviews regarding the critical situation created by fuel shortages, one of the station's directors wrote on Twitter. Electricity supply from Haiti's grid is so unsteady that most businesses and offices cannot maintain operations without power provided by diesel generators. Around 30% of antennas operated by Digicel, Haiti's largest mobile phone provider, were out of fuel. The plan to hike fuel prices unleashed anger among Haitians already struggling with soaring prices, triggering protests and street violence that developed into looting. A World Food Program official on Monday said UN agencies and nonprofit organizations lost some $6 million worth of relief supplies during the violence. Haiti's gang violence has accelerated since last year's assassination of President Jovenel Moïse, with kidnappings becoming increasingly frequent and many areas of the country effectively ruled by gangs.
No change is anticipated in the EC currency as yet since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Andre Huey of SKN Newsline has this story.
The governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, Timothy Antoine, has advised that there are no immediate plans to make changes to the EC polymer notes and coins following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Responding to a question during a live conversation with the governor in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Governor Antoine said nothing happens right now. He further explained that there are 3 to 4 years of inventory or stock of EC polymer notes.
The fact of the matter is that we have 3 to 4 years of inventory or stock of these notes, of these beautiful polymer notes, and we plan to use them. So you will see no change in respect of your notes and coins for the time being. Absolutely no change.
The governor, however, noted that the passing of the Queen raises the question as to what happens next. He said a conversation needs to take place where the region needs to decide where we want to take our currency.
However, her passing does raise the question, what happens next?
Yeah.
And we will need to have a conversation in our region about what we want to do, where we want to take our currency, what image we want. I can tell you there are a lot of people who feel that it's time for us to move in a different direction, and that rather than continue with the British sovereign, that we should be using our own landmarks.
The governor said that he looks forward to the conversation, noting that in time, a determination will be made. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
Can St. Lucia feed itself? This is the theme for a consultation held by the St. Lucia Marketing Board. Solange Alfred of HTS News reports on plans in that direction.
General Manager Vincent Lacobiniere says a myriad of challenges are impeding St. Lucia's efforts at self-sufficiency in food security.
St. Lucia's agricultural sector continues to face
tremendous challenges in terms of climate change, in terms of the lack of investment in agriculture or reduction of investment in agriculture. We have a situation where farmers are very fragmented. The inputs are very expensive. And so as a consequence, I thought that it would be good for us to bring all those issues on board and to see how we together can work and see how we can resolve some of those issues.
Statistical data from the Observatory of Economic Complexity, OEC, shows that St. Lucia annually imports nearly $12.1 million worth of poultry meats. In 2020, St. Lucia imported $1.05 billion worth of products ranging from petrol, car parts, food products, and other consumer items.
The marketing board is collaborating with the Taiwanese mission, the Taiwanese Technical Mission, and the World University Service of Canada for national consultation food security. And as such, we are holding a 2-day event on Friday, starting Friday, 30th of September. That's when we conduct the national consultation. On the Saturday, we are having a farmers market. And on Sunday, we are having a family day.
La Corbinière does not rule out stakeholders becoming more hands-on in developing the locally made inputs. He says this could be crucial in price reduction and ensuring access to food.
Well, that is why you are really having a consultation, to bring in all those elements. To right through the chain, like what you call the supply chain, right through you have challenges. And we recognize price as a challenge. So therefore, the stakeholders now would come together and decide what strategy we have to implement to counteract the high cost of production.
Can we do it? Can we as a nation provide our own input?
Yes, we can do it. Because there are unless you must have your numbers. We're going to bring in numbers on board, and then we will develop the right strategy to determine whether we're going to, for example, whether you're going to have inorganic fertilizers, whether you're going to have organic fertilizers. But you must talk. You must have a conversation to determine as to where and what to do.
The director of the St. Lucia Marketing Board says the goal is to create an action-oriented plan to detail the logistics involved in creating a more sustainable agricultural industry that can ensure St. Lucia can attain food security. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. The Antigua and Barbuda Airports Authority has received new scanning equipment which is set to improve the efficiency of its operations at the VC Bird International Airport. Jamie J. Roger of ABS News reports.
A major shipment arrives at VC Bird International Airport Wednesday. The containers hold crucial X-ray scanning equipment for bags passengers check in before boarding their flights.
So these are not machines that you would see as you enter the airport, but this is the nerve center of our departure operation.
Antigua and Barbuda Airport Authority Chief Executive Officer Violetta Francis says once the machines are installed, passengers will no longer have to shift their bags to another area after checking them at the counter. She says the new machines should be up and running in about 3 months, and the entire project will cost the airport authority some $5 million. It's
not as simple as just pulling out one machine and putting in the other. It's a lot more complex. But we are looking forward because the beginning of 2023 is really the heart of our winter season. So December will be busy, but really and truly January, February. So we anticipate that this entire project will be done by December.
The CEO says there are contingencies already built in to minimize disruptions for passengers during the installation. Meanwhile, ABBA's Safety and Security Director Avery Henry says the new machines run a CTX system, which is an upgrade on the current multi-view machines.
Multi-view machines show you, give you different directions, different dimensions of the image. However, this one now, we can interrogate it better. We can now take the bag and take a slice out of the bag and look at it, turn it around, this kind of thing. So we can look into in more detail what is inside those whole baggage now.
He says the new machines also have fewer moving parts, so it'll be easier to maintain. Jamie J. Roche, ABS News.
Jamaica is being encouraged to build out alternative investment vehicles. Javon Keys of TVJ Business reports.
Venture capital and hedge funds are among the long list of alternative investment vehicles on the market, but Jamaica and other countries in the region are yet to take full advantage. Beresford Gray is CEO of Cygnus.
Our estimate is that the alternative investment market in the English-speaking and Dutch Caribbean is roughly about 700 million at best, maximum 900 million. That is probably just about 0.75 to 1% of gross domestic product, GDP, across all of these markets.
He says comparatively, alternative investments represent almost 20% of GDP in the US. Mr. Gray says the region should up its market share in a decade.
If we in the region can move the market, transform the market such that alternative investment represent, say, 10% of GDP over a 10-year period. We're talking about, about $7 to $10 billion in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean. When we put in Puerto Rico, Dumrep, and the other Caribbean islands, Central America, for example, we are talking about a $30, $40 billion market.
But that move will require legislative backing to include the framework for private equity and real estate investment trusts. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark says while the government must outline policies to support the sector, private interests will be key to the expansion of alternative investment tools.
The government is pursuing a strategy where we see the private sector as having the capacity to mobilize investments on a scale that far exceeds the government's capacity. And the key is to have an enabling environment where investment is attractive, where there are investment opportunities, where the government doesn't stand in the way of investment, and that there are means by which investment can be mobilized. Because again, it doesn't happen automatically. And we have been focused on pursuing policies that are conducive to that taking place.
For the Business Day, I'm Javon Keys.
Hubbard's is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardshardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick, wishing you a restful weekend. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.